Well, my biggest thing was understanding paying extra towards our principal and understanding basically how much you're actually saving in interest. Because I've always been told, you want to pay extra every month towards your mortgage to your principal, but I didn't know how much I'll actually be saving, right? And so I'm on my second home. I purchased a home a few years ago, sold
Mm-hmm.
that one. I'm on my second home, roughly about 240.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
All
I've been
right.
paying extra, but I wasn't paying enough in the way that you're teaching it. So it gives me a
All right, Miss Jasmine,
perspective.
let me show you now because you said that. All right, I'm going to show the other part of that with you. We've seen what a higher interest rate can do, right?
Yes.
But we haven't seen what that 2.99% interest rate that everybody is hoping for and praying for and dreaming about. They want that 2.99. They want that 2.5 because that's what they're being told. Okay. And before you met me, you were dreaming and hoping for the same thing, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back. We got a $200,000 mortgage at 6%, right? And I'm going back to where it was at $200 principal payments. So now we are looking at this. Do you see our principal payments, how small they are? You saw how
Hmm.
small our principal payments were at the 18%. I'm going to take this thing all the way down to 2.99. I want you to see how much $2,456 and a penny. If we prepay that, it knocks off 12 months off this loan and it saves us $11,000, correct?
Hmm.
At 18%, it's $2,456 and a penny. Ooh, I got to scroll way down for that. At 18%, 2,400, oh, right here, $2,454 knocks off 86 payments. How much interest did we just skip? Can you see it?
256,000.
Yes. That was money the bank was hoping to get because they ganked us into getting an 18% mortgage. But that's how much interest they will not get if I prepay $2,454. How amazing is that? I know some people are screenshot. Listen, I got 21 shares in here. All right. Johnny Bling said, that's nuts. They said, what? Oh my goodness. All right. Listen, folks, here's what we got going on here. All right. I'm going to now go back and put another one in. We're going to duplicate this tab. We're going to pull up this same mortgage at 2.99. Okay. We're going to take a look at our mortgage payment. Oh, it goes all the way down to $842. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at it goes down to $842 at 2.99. Look how much interest they want. 103,000. So the 200,000, they want 103,000. Remember when I said when we see a huge amount that the bank wants, that is an indication that we're putting ourselves in a position to really win big on this thing. But the amount of interest that they want on a $200,000 mortgage now is only about half of that, half of the mortgage, which means even though it's 51.583%, okay, it's still a lot, but it's not as much as it was if it were 6%. Because the more money they want from me for a 30-year loan, the more money I can save. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It makes a lot of sense.
All right. So when we see a lot of money here, don't fret. Okay. So here's what we're looking at. Look at the principal payments now. Remember, I was at $200 principal payments before. On the 18%, I was down to $14 and $15 principal payments. But now look at my principal payments now at 2.99. Miss Jasmine, am I worse off at 2.99 than I am at 6?
Hmm.
Have you ever heard anything
Yes.
like this before?
No.
Man, oh man, I'm so glad that you all came to the stage to force us to take a look at these things from your point of view and understanding here why the bank wants you to get the lower interest rates because it takes you longer and costs you more money to pay off these loans because your extra money doesn't do as much work for you because you're not taught what $2,456 prepaid. Now I'm just picking that number out of the air. Your situation is going to be unique to you. But look at $2,400 here. It only knocks off 7 payments. On one of the loans, the $2,400 knocks off 7 payments. On the 6% loan, it knocks off 12. On the 18% mortgage, this same number knocks off about 84 payments. Do you see what we did not know and why we need to know this? So, Miss Jasmine, do you have any other questions for me today?
No, that was it.
All right.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.